can't decide if I should stay and say I tried, I should leave.
Unsurprisingly, a bad Drake and Party Next Door album. Both the two don't even work together or absent in multiple tracks, making this collaborative album an awful one at that. The production carries for multiple of the songs, but can get horrible on tracks like Glorious with the awful mixing between vocals. Drake and Party Next Door boast about sex, women and money with mid to kindergarten levels of writing. Meet Your Padre is every abysmal aspect of the album, with cringe-worthy Spanish lyrics that are hard to ignore. There's 2 good songs on this album, Give Me a Hug with its uplifting instrumental and Drake delivering his impressive performance, and Die Trying, where the concept and lyrics delve into emotional struggles and relationship problems, but enjoying the journey throughout it. Drake, Party Next Door and Yebo slang beautifully together. However, it's not worth trying to say this album is anything above an F tier. This album is just a mess of good, mid and bad tracks all together, which benefits the album by sounding unique, but doesn't make the album as a whole good. The concept and lyrical aspect is decent, beside a few instances where it doesn't make sense at all, or just straight up the repetitive topic of drugs, money and sex. The production, mostly by Swamp Izzo, ranges from good to downright clustered on tracks like Pop Out, Crank and Opium Baby. The performances are decent as well, but there are moments where it completely ruins the song, like Different Day, where Carti had a baby sounding voice from that Whole Lotta Red era to ruin the good production and lyrics on this track. Overall, this album is a low C tier. The quality of the Carter 6 falls off a cliff at Island Holiday. It's not that it's true, but from my perspective, it's as if every track after Cotton Candy was done at the last minute as a result of Wayne being upset for not being on the Super Bowl. Pussy. Hence, the performance is feeling low energy. The writing is good when it has originality and stays away from interpolating existing songs like Banned from Eno's verse coming from the 90s song Banned from TV and Island Holiday off Weezer. The production is a mixed bag, being impressive on tracks like Bells and The Days, but being absolutely shit in Peanuts to an Elephant, Maria and Muller coming in. The album was off to a good start, but nah, overall it's a D tier album.
The birds don't sing, the birds don't sing.
The Birds Don't Sing is my favourite song from 2025. Beautiful production, and the hooks by John Legend. Pusha T and Malice expressing the heartbreaking period of life after their father passing away. Everyone made a beautiful opening track with high expectations at the start of the album. So Be It is one of the album's outstanding instrumentals and a hard diss at Travis Scott, especially at his pride. Overall, the themes about religion and faith, and the opening and By the Grace of God resonate with me. The performances by Pusha T, Malice, John Legend, Kendrick, Tyler the Creator, Steve God Cooks and Nas are phenomenal and deserve their own video breaking down how strong they went in each of their performances. Let God Sort 'Em Out is a platinum, top tier album, being the best from 2025. In the kindest of words, this album is an appalling sabotage to the Jack Boys group to take shots at Pusha T after his album was released 2 days prior. The tracks, in average, are mediocre, either from uninteresting concepts/writing or a decent aspect ruined by the productions of features, performances. An exception was Travis and Tyler on PPT, which was then ruined by vibes and disastrous air horns and noise in the production. Jack Boys 2 is just a sad project that will go into low E tier. Don't Tap the Glass is a great album, released not even a full year after Chromacopia. breaking expectations and creating bangers with amazing instrumentals and performances by him, Madison McFerrin on Don't You Worry Baby. The writing isn't the strongest aspect of the album, but if you're seeking something to vibe to, I definitely recommend Don't Tap the Glass. A tier.
It makes my heart break when I see gangsters turn to angels.
Alfredo 2 grew on me a lot since my first listen. Freddie Gibbs delivers legendary lyrics and fantastic flows throughout that album, whether it's his perspective on life and his position in the rap game, using play on words like ensalada or my salars, or sliding through his verses. He uses techniques to get you engaged into what he's saying. Alchemist uses great samples and production on tracks like Ensalada, Empanadas, and I Still Love Her, even a nod to 1985 on the track 1995. Lastly, Anderson .Paak and JID do an amazing job, and some easily of my favourite features on a project from this year. Alfredo 2 is an S tier behind that, God sort him out.
I don't give a fuck about no industry beef. Ain't nobody give a fuck when Tay was dead.
Another amazing album by JID after the Forever Story, God Does Like Ugly, explores the themes of religion, street violence, and JID's perspective on the rap game and life, which are fascinating throughout tracks like Glory, Community with Clips, and Off Blue with Memory Bar. The production is consistently amazing, especially on Skate, Wholeheartedly, Off Blue, and Behold, being a vibe to listen to with the latter two, having interesting beat switches in the tracks. It's my personal favourite album of the year and will land in S tier below Let God Sort 'Em Out.
Talk about the highs and lows, the ups and downs. The friends that I had to hide to come.
Chance the Rapper locked in for the star line, hitting us with interesting topics and lyrics throughout the tracklist on racism, life, and more, with highlights like the Negro Problem, Highs and Lows, Space Time, and Tree, assisted with good features and production. This album isn't a masterpiece, however. The tracks Link Me in the Future and Puts This Gun in Your Purse have a distractingly mediocre auto-tuned voice, ruining those tracks for me. This is a B tier album overall.
I'm on a Porsche with the click, crisp like chicken and Crisco's. My nigga, I need all.
Live Laugh Laugh is a good album by Earl Sweatshirt. The album gets stronger at the midpoint of the tracklist, offering interesting writing and performances on Gamma, Live, Cisco, and Exhaust, and has a unique production style for each track. Biased opinion, but some of the songs had genuinely interesting concepts but had a short runtime, like Well Done and Static, which I would have enjoyed even more. However, this doesn't deduct from this being a great album, and Live Laugh Laugh will land an A tier behind Don't Tap the Glass.
I want is all I.
Kiari is a solid project. The writing aspect hits or doesn't in my opinion. You have tracks like Enemies and Bodies with phenomenal performances, along with Never Let Go about Offset's brother who passed away, and Offset and John Legend having a heartfelt performance commemorating him. But then there's tracks like Different Species and All of My Hoes talking about hoes and sex, which makes the tracks boring for me. The features on this do an amazing job, as you have JID, Tizo Touchdown, and John Legend making those tracks amazing. This is a B tier album.
Look back at my life, I came from zero love.
3 is a consistently good album by Kid Cudi, where it doesn't have any bad or mid tracks to throw you off, but doesn't blow me out of the water to have amazing ones either. It ends up being a successful pop album Kid Cudi experiments in. The highs for the production and performance are in Grave and Stargazing, but weaker on the tracks Ashes and Neverland. This album will land in B tier.
My biggest fears is losing you to the internet.
Oi Scooty is one of those albums where the album cover is so bad you just know it's going to be a bad album, in which it is. You have the intro track of Young Thug constantly saying the slur version of nigger, all downright corny writing plastered on tracks like Fucking Told You, Whoop-De-Doo, I'm So Dope, emphasis on Mammy, and Walk Down. The last 2 tracks leave the album on a good note, however, where on Miss My Dogs, Thug reminisces on the times he spent with his friends and family, and I also like the features from Miara, The Scientist, and Future. However, this doesn't excuse the album going an E tier.
From around us, hit it with the pounders, they do not astound us, nigga, it's about...
Beautiful final album by Mobb Deep, Havoc, and Nate Prodigy. The lyrics can be outstanding as they give an impressive effort proving they're the greatest for 30 years. It peaked on tracks like Look At Me, Taj Mahal, Mr. Magic, Pour the Henny, Clear Black Nights, and We The Real Thing, as they deliver an excellent performance as well. Prodigy's verses are done by previous recordings at the times he was alive, but they're still fitting and he did an excellent job throughout his life. The production by both Havoc and The Alchemist are straight bangers as well, and are either a vibe in Against the World, Mr. Magic, and We The Real Thing, or give a nostalgic feeling in Downview, Taj Mahal, and Pour the Henny. This is an outstanding project, and it will head up into S tier. Ty Dolla $ign is free from the horrible Vultures era from Kanye West. Tycoon has some of the worst writing on any album this year, right next to some sexy songs for you. YG's verse about some, let me put my tongue in your pause, don't take what I said out of context. And it's not even a laugh it out kind of bad, it's just straight up nasty, sloppy lyrics on women, as if Ty and all the features on this album are virgins. The production too suffers very bad mixing or obnoxiously loud on all the songs except for All In, Mixed Emotions, and I Wish. And they're just okay songs at best. This album very likely killed Ty's career, and I don't give a fuck for the most part. Tycoon is the worst album this year, and there's some sexy songs for you, with there being no good tracks, and just being straight up abysmal at times. Stardust is a banger album from Danny Brown. The production throughout this album is straight up creative and groovy, as he does an impressive job by holding it up with great lyrics and performances on tracks like Copycats, Lift You Up, and The End, where the specific track makes you feel like you're thrown into another dimension. What you see is an example of the amazing writing on the album, as he explores his emotions and experiences, his teenage life with the beautiful production, which gives you a peaceful vibe. I love the Polish singer Ta Ukraina on The End as well, and found the choice of Ukrainian verses interesting. Do not sleep on Stardust, as this is a high A tier album above Don't Tap the Glass.
My story, your story.
Weed high war stories.
Kid Fly.
Light Years is a great album for both Preem and Nas overall. The only duds were New York State of Mind Part 3 and Pulse Tapes, with the production and / vague concept. Preem's production was rocky at the start, but consistently good after Pulse Tapes, where he made fantastic beats for Sons, Junkie, and Third Childhood. Nas delivered great performances and writing / concepts like Writers, Sons, Nasty Escobar, My Story, Your Story, with AZ, and Third Childhood. This album overall will land in A tier.
I wish that I could see my friends, just so I could smile again.
Lastly, What Happened to the Streets had potential that it failed to reach. Step Brothers had amazing production just to be ruined by a Young Nudy's half-awake performance, all the production just being disastrous multiple times like Mr. Recoup. An embarrassing example where even my old whack beats are better than it, and Drake and 21 half-assed their effort on it. The writing is the good old sex, pussy and money that's a repetitive theme or concept used in mediocre albums. The good songs Gang Go For Everything, Atlanta Tears, and I Wish
not that mid song from Tycoon, actually have good production, exploring his life and time he spent with his gang. For the last album of 2025 in hip hop, this will land in a high DTR under the Carter 6. And this is my final tier list, with Let God Sort 'Em Out being the best of the year and Tycoon being the worst of the year. Let me know what you think, and please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. See you next time.